Emmy. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing the long-awaited wedding Q&A. Please disregard my unfinished office in the background. Maybe someday we'll have floors in here, but today is not that day. In today's Q&A, we are going over everything from the bridal shower to the bachelorette party to the honeymoon to the actual wedding, giving you all the tips and tricks that I have, things that I would do or wouldn't do if you're in the process of planning a wedding, things you can register for, all the good stuff. Let's jump right into it, and we're gonna start off from the beginning with my bridal showers. As always, it's a good day to have a good day, so let's have a good day and a good Q&A. Got all my questions here. I'm gonna try and answer as many as I can without rambling on and on for like an hour. The first question that I got from multiple people is, what are your top registry must-haves? Our Roomba vacuum is totally a must, especially if you have dogs. I don't know what I did before we had ours because it is so helpful. I love my pink KitchenAid. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. Our place pan is absolutely incredible. I got it in pink. One of my friends got it for me. I freaking adore it. We basically got new kitchen everything, ditched all the old stuff. Now, if you have kitchen stuff already, don't feel like you have to do that, but we purposefully didn't buy any new kitchen stuff for a long time so that we could register for all new pots and pans, dishes, bowls, plates, cups, utensils, all of the above, and I'm so glad that we did that. I will link as much as I can below so that you can check some of that stuff out. We also registered for things like new towels and new bedding, which I'm so thankful we did because we absolutely need those. To be honest with you guys, some of my very, very, very favorite gifts that I got for our wedding were actually not on my registry at all. They were these really special personalized items that people obviously put a lot of thought into. I got a cutting board with my grandma's recipe engraved in it. My grandma passed away several years ago now, and getting that from one of my aunts was super special. My sister got me this custom engraved Bible with my new name in it. I absolutely love it. I use it every single day. My old pageant director that I was really close with got me a big Disney princess cups, plates, bowls, china set. That's what it's called. I absolutely love that, and she got me a Disney cookbook as well. Then one of the really special things that my mom did for me, I mentioned my grandparents had passed away and we were really close. So my mom had a bunch of stuff that she had gotten from their home, and then she put together gift packages that were technically from them, and I loved it. So if you are gifting for a bridal shower, just know that you don't always have to go off the registry. If you have a cute idea, something that's fun, sentimental, special, the bride really will love it. Did you have a part in planning your own bridal showers, or who did you leave that up to? So I actually had 3 bridal showers. One was thrown by Colton's sister, and another was thrown by my sisters, and then the last one was thrown by my mom's sisters. And I think that's pretty abnormal. Usually people have one and invite everybody, but we have such big families and friend groups, and they're kind of from all over the place, so it really worked out to have separate ones. I had no part in planning any of them. They were all planned by my fabulous family, and they were all amazing and so darn fun. Moving on to the bachelorette party. If you don't know, we went to Nashville for my bachelorette party. We went for a long weekend over Memorial Day. It was so fun. We got an Airbnb. We spent one day in downtown Nashville, and then we spent some time at our Airbnb in the big pool and by the water as well. Honestly, a lot of my bachelorette party questions were about my outfits. I'll link those below. This one was, what was the best thing that you did while you were in Nashville? I have to say, it's really a toss-up. The Pedal Tavern was so fun. Our driver was so wild and crazy, and it was a wild time. That was definitely like the craziest thing that we did on our bachelorette. So if you're looking for something like crazy, wild, fun, that is definitely it. I will never forget that. The other thing that I also loved, we went to White Limousine, which is Dolly Parton's rooftop bar in Nashville. It was so stinking cute. It's all pink, adorable, girly. The drinks are so fun. The food is delicious and cute and dainty, and it's just very Instagrammable and so girly. The perfect place to go for like a brunch. You do have to get reservations 2 weeks out, and they fill up just like that. White Limousine, highly recommend. Now we are going to jump into the actual wedding. That's what the bulk of these questions are about. First question that came up a lot, did you use a wedding planner or a day of coordinator. No, we did not use either of those services. Colton and I were so stinking hands-on with our wedding. We planned absolutely every little detail down to the nitty-gritty. We made a ton of the decorations ourselves. We just did so much of the planning. And the day of the wedding, we did not have a coordinator, but I will say that my aunts really stepped in and came in handy and took care of a lot of things that a wedding coordinator typically would take care of anyway. If you have like a great family friend or relative that could kind of step in and fill that role, that's something you might want to consider. And if we didn't have them, we definitely would not have been able to do it, because obviously we can't be in 100 places at once on our wedding day, and it's your wedding day, you want to relax and enjoy. So I would recommend having somebody to help you the day of, but we did not hire a coordinator and we did not hire a planner. Fair warning, if you do not use a wedding planner, it takes so much time and energy. What is the hardest part about planning a wedding? You know, I would say that the hardest part for us was like thinking through all the little things that you need, because there's the big stuff that everybody tells you about, like DJing, getting your menu, and deciding where you're gonna have it. Like the nitty-gritty little details are really what get you. Luckily, I am the third child in our family to get married, so I've been through this a little bit and knew some of the things that we really needed to think through. If you don't know, there are so many little things that you have to handle, like when to get your marriage license. I don't know. There's just so much little stuff that creeps up on you. How did you choose your venue? We got married in an old country church, and it's really out in the middle of nowhere, and that's where our ceremony was held. And we chose that church, very special, because it was my grandparents' church, my set of grandparents that passed away. They went there, my mom grew up going there. It was just a really sweet little element. We kind of felt like my grandparents could be part of the day, even though they obviously couldn't be there in the flesh. Then our reception venue was actually a big ballroom that was attached to a hotel. The reception venue was really kind of the difficult part for us. We had a huge guest list. So we invited like 450 people and ended up having 350-ish show up to the wedding. We needed a big venue that could accommodate that amount of people, and around us in Iowa, there really were not a ton of options. Most of like the wedding barns and venues that are like specifically for weddings cap out at like 200, 250 people, and that just wasn't gonna be big enough for us. Other big thing was we really did want it to be attached to a hotel, because we knew we were gonna have an open bar situation and that people were gonna be drinking, and we didn't want to like have anybody have to stress about how they were getting home. They could just get a room and literally walk 2 feet and be in their room. We ended up in a hotel ballroom, which I will admit makes decorating a little bit more difficult, because they are not innately beautiful like some of the other wedding venues that are out there. Did you guys set a budget, and was it easy to stay on budget if you did? Yes, we did have some sort of budget. So my parents did pay for part of the wedding. They set aside money for each of us kids to help us out with the wedding, and then anything beyond their allotted cash, we paid for ourselves. We did set a budget, and it was very hard to stick to, and we honestly didn't stick to it very well. I'm just being honest. Did you have an open bar, and how did you set up your bar/drinks? Yes, we did have an open bar at the wedding. So after the ceremony, it moved into like an hour-long cocktail hour in the lobby of the venue. And during the cocktail hour, we served our signature drinks, the Thomas and the Edison. They were so stinking cute. Thomas's was a Moscow Mule, garnished with glitter and a cherry, and then the Edison's was an old fashioned. Colton and I just picked 2 of our favorite drinks, and so we had those during cocktail hour, and the entire night we had open bar for wine and beer. They did let me give them edible glitter, and all night they were sprinkling glitter into the wine, and anybody who asked for glitter in their drink, they could have a glitter drink, and it was that's kind of how we set that up. It worked really nicely. Pretty much everybody will drink at least some sort of beer or wine, so there was something for everyone. And then we did soda and water as well. Buffet or plated meal, which is the way to go. Let me just go through our food for the evening. At cocktail hour, we did have a little snack bar. We had popcorn, peanuts, candies, chocolate, blah, blah, blah to go with the drinks. For our actual meal, we had a buffet. We offered a couple different kinds of meat, really yummy sides. Mac and cheese was one of them, and it was incredible. And then we actually did a kids buffet as well. We had a ton of kids at our wedding, and I know that kids often do not like your typical wedding food, so we did a kids buffet with like chicken strips, fries, all that good kind of stuff. For dessert, we did a traditional cake, and we had cheesecake in a bunch of different flavors that my sister actually made, and she knocked it out of the park. We had cupcakes for guests as well on the dessert table. I'll go into detail about this more later. We had a kids Disney room, and we did all kinds of Disney treats in there. We did Mickey Rice Krispies, we did mini ear sugar cookies, cotton candy, and then we had a big Ferris wheel that was like a candy bar. So each seat on the Ferris wheel had a different kind of candy, and you could scoop it out and make yourself a little bag of candy. So we had food everywhere. Oh, and I forgot one thing. At 11 p.m., we had late night snacks brought out, and it was the bomb. People loved it so much. Chicken sliders, pork sliders, cheeseburger sliders, and quesadillas. So there was steak, chicken, and cheese quesadillas. It was a great touch, if I do say so myself. Were there any Disney elements to your wedding, since you guys love Disney so much? Yes, there were. Actually, we had a lot of people that thought we were going to have like a Disney themed wedding, and we did not do that. But we had a few little Disney touches that we threw in there for fun. Our save the dates were actually recreations of the original Disneyland ticket. Our guest book was a Snow White storybook that everybody signed. And then we did some crazy stuff. We made 20 miniature houses, black and white houses to match our decor, and had them suspended in the ceiling by balloons. We got ginormous 3-foot balloons and attached 10 of them to these little houses to put floating house bouquets all over the ballroom. It was so stinking cute, but it was so stressful because making a house float, even if it's a foot, is a very hard task. We needed so much helium and so many balloons that they had to bring in a whole team to our venue, get U-Haul trailers so that they could bring in helium tanks and fill all of our balloons at the venue. That was probably like the most stressful part, because we were really worried they were gonna like start falling during the night and knocking people in the head. But everybody had so much fun with them, and by the end of the night they were disassembled and kids were running around with balloons, which is kind of what we wanted to happen to make it fun. So I don't know, I do not regret that at all. But they were inspired by, of course, the floating house in Up, and that is one of our very, 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 very favorite Disney Pixar films. We also had a Disney kids room. We had a big craft table with a bunch of colored pencils for the kids, and then we had coloring sheets of Colton and I in Disneyland. And we did a big backdrop with a balloon arch that said "To love, to laughter, and happily ever after," and we actually had Cinderella come in and do meet and greets with the kids for about an hour. Also in there we had the big treat carts. So we had 3 carts with the Mickey Rice Krispies cookies and cotton candy that people could go grab, and then the big candy Ferris wheel was in that room as well. I'm so glad we did it, because not only was it a huge hit with the kids, but low-key the adults loved it too, and I know that a lot of adults went and got treats, and a lot of adults went and got pictures with Cinderella. This one says, how did you narrow down a guest list? This is really hard for me. We didn't. Where did you get your dress? Actually, I have a Finding My Wedding Dress vlog that I will link below as well, but I got my dress from Henry's Cloud 9, and I actually got to custom design it with them. It was the most fun process ever, and then Sherry Hill was actually the one who made my custom dress, which is so fun and so cool. She did an amazing, amazing job. Is there anything you regret? I mean, no, it was absolutely the most perfect day ever. I'll tell you that. We loved every single bit of it. I wouldn't say that I have regrets per se, but there were certainly things that I could have done to make it easier. like not do a trillion decorations and maybe ask for more help during the whole like getting ready for the wedding process. We did so many stinking projects. So many projects. But it all got done and we were really happy with it, and like I said, the day was perfect, so I don't really have regrets, I guess. Did you guys do party favors? I feel like they're such a waste of money and no one ever keeps them. True that. Party favors I feel like often get tossed. We did do a party favor, however. We actually made coasters, so I'll insert a picture of them, but we made ceramic tile coasters. Colton made them on his laser and I designed them. And we put everybody's last name on the coaster. So you had a personalized coaster at your seat with your last name on it, and then you could take them home with you and use them in your home decor. If you had like your whole family there, then you go home with like a cute big set. So many people said that they loved them and have actually asked us to purchase more of them for their house so that they can have like a bigger stack of them in their home. But that was a really fun touch that I'm so glad we did, because so many people actually loved them, and I feel like it's one of the few party favors that I have heard of that people actually cared about. No offense to anybody if you did a party favor. I'm gonna chat a little bit about the ring. So many of the questions that I got about our wedding are about my ring, and I'm so glad that you guys love it as much as I do. Here she is. Ding, 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 ding. A big question that I got asked was, did Colton pick out the ring himself? And my engagement ring, yes. Colton picked it out himself. I think he had his sister's help. I had shown him some inspo images on like Pinterest and that kind of stuff a few times prior to him picking it out, but he did it all himself. He got it from Tenenbaums, which is a local ring shop that's actually in Iowa. I had quite a few people ask where it was from, so that's where it's from. So for my bands, Colton and I kind of worked together to design them. It was such a cool process. We did this at Tenenbaums also, but they let us kind of give them an idea of what we wanted. They sketched out the ring. They let me pick all of the different, if this will focus. They let me pick out all of the different stones and the different shapes and how big we wanted them. They did a sketch for us and we sent it in for a wax mold to be made. So I had to give up my engagement ring for a little bit while they sent it in and got the wax mold made. Then they sent the wax mold back. I went and got to try it on with the ring, make sure it was what I wanted, and they knocked it out of the park. So then the wax mold gets sent back and then they make your real ring. And I did have mine all three soldered together on the bottom. So they are permanently attached to each other. Can't take a band off or move them at all. I love my ring. Colton did such a good job and it was so fun to be able to design it together. Last but not least, I had a few questions about our honeymoon, and I am so happy to share about that because it was a dream. We went to Bungalows Key Largo for 6 nights. It is an all-inclusive resort in the Florida Keys. It was a flipping dream. We had a bungalow right on the beach, right on the water. We could literally walk out our front door and be on the beach on the water. All inclusive, only 21 plus, so there were no kids there. We had all of our drinks, all of our food. The food was phenomenal. Literally so phenomenal. It was an absolutely beautiful resort. I've had people ask if I would recommend it, and absolutely yes, I would, to literally anyone. I really want to go back someday because that's how much of a blast we had. They told us that we lucked out and got one of the best rooms. Like I said, our bungalow was right on the water and it was in like a very private area where there were not a lot of people. We were on one of like kind of the ends of the beach, so not next to the bar or the hot tub or the pool or anything. So it was like so quiet, so peaceful. And the resort was just so darn cute. They had these little blue bikes that you could ride around everywhere, anywhere you needed to go in the resort. We rode them every day. They had multiple pools. They had a pool where you could be like loud and drink and have fun. And then they had a, I think they called it the Zen pool or something like that, where it was like a more quiet area next to the spa where you were just supposed to be more chill and relaxed. So we did do a couple excursions, which were extra. You had to pay a little bit extra to do these things, but one of the things we did was go snorkeling, and it was the coolest experience ever, 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 ever. Apparently this area is an area that people like pay a ton of money to go snorkeling in, and people come from all around the world to see the cool sea life, and it was amazing. Cole and I actually lucked out big time. We were the only people in the group that saw this group of 3 ginormous spotted eagle rays swim right by us. They were so huge. Actually, at first we thought they were sharks because they kind of swim sideways and their little flipper thing sticks out of the water. So we were both like, but then we saw these huge eagle rays swim by us, and it was so funny because both of us pop our head out of the water to make sure the other one saw it, and the only thing I could get out of my mouth was babe, 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 babe. It was an unbelievable experience. I would snorkel every day if I could. Like, the ocean is so stinking cool. We did see a little shark, but it wasn't really bothering anybody, so that was kind of freaky but kind of cool. And then so many amazing fish too. Highly, highly recommend. The other big excursion that we did was go deep sea fishing, which was so cool too. We actually both caught a shark. Then of course we just let them right back into the water. We didn't keep them or anything, but it was so cool. And those suckers are feisty. They were small sharks, but they are so strong and so feisty. So they were really hard to reel in, to be honest. For me at least. Colton probably had a little bit of an easier time, but it was quite an arm workout, and I thought I was gonna be sore the next day. That is all of the questions that we have time for today. This was so fun going back down memory lane. Like I said, if you have a question that wasn't answered, just comment it below and I will reply to you with as good of information as I can give you. I'm definitely not an expert, but I'll try my best. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helped those of you that are in the process of planning a wedding. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit your bell notification. I have new videos every week. Well, have a great day.